I'm sure a lot of you know of The Bride of Frankenstein, the sequel to the great monster flick that is Frankenstein. Well, there have been numerous takes on the tale of Frankenstein's bride over the years, I'm almost sure of it. And I've just seen a recent one that came out this past March. But did this film really deserve to be a big box office disappointment and cut off Warner Bros. Winning streak of movies since last year? Or can I put a little spark of change of your minds to the people who just ditched this? Find out right now in this spoiler free review of The Bride. Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. So, greetings, my fellow YouTubers, and welcome again to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. I'm the Big D, and this time around, I bring to you a spoiler free review of the 2026 Gothic romance flick, The Bride, released by Warner Bros., directed and written by Maggie Gyllenhaal, starring Jessie Buckley in a dual role, along with Christian Bale, Peter Sarsgaard, Annette Bening, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Penelope Cruz. The film draws inspiration from the 1935 film The Bride of Frankenstein, which was based on Mary Shelley's 1818 novel of Frankenstein. This was released 2.5 months ago on March 6th, just a week after premiering in Leicester Square. While it got mixed reviews, but it ended up bombing hard at the box office, ending Warner Bros big winning streak of big hits they had since last year. Anyway, let's get into this to why I'll give to you the story. Since with a spoiler-free review, as you know, I'm only going to give you a little bit of the story, but not all of it. So this way it won't ruin your liking of one to check out. Okay? Let's go for it. Speaking from the afterlife, Mary Shelley, she says she has a story she wanted to tell after Frankenstein, but could not because of her death. To tell it, she possesses Ida, a woman living in 1936 Chicago, who in her trance publicly discusses the criminal activities of the crime boss Lupino. Lupino's henchmen, Clyde and James, discreetly take her aside, where Aya's possessed ranting causes Aya to fall down a flight of stairs to her death. Elsewhere in Chicago, Frankenstein's monster, aka Frank, arrives at the house of scientist Dr. Cornelia Euphonius. Having read about Euphonius' work on reanimation, he enlists her to create a companion for him after a century of loneliness. Euphonius and Frank choose Aya's corpse and successfully revive her, but she loses memory in the process. Frank takes advantage of this and states that she is his bride and lost her memory in an accident. Frank and Aya see a movie featuring Frank's favorite actor, Ronnie Reed, and then go dance at a club, and as they leave, two men attempt to assault her, and Frank kills them. And Frank tells her to leave him, but she decides to run away with him, and thus they stow away on a train to New York City, killing a police officer who discovers them after Shelley causes her to have an outburst. And meanwhile, Detective Jake Wiles and his assistant, Myrna Malloy, investigate the murders and eventually follow them to the Big Apple. Now, that's all the story I'll give to you. If you want to know what happens then, go see the movie. Well, which this film is now on physical media and is also now available to watch on HBO Max. Now, for my thoughts, this was alright, but I didn't quite enjoy it much. I liked it a little, but not a whole lot, though. I mean, I do like some of its atmosphere and what have you. It is pretty gothic in ways. But I feel like I can understand what everybody said about it. But anyway, this film lost out to Scream 7 Hoppers when it came out, and ended up being a commercial disappointment, aka a box office bomb. It tanked hard, making only $24 million worldwide on its $80 to $90 million budget, costing Warner Bros. A humiliating loss and cutting off their winning streak after they just more recently had a hit with Wuthering Heights the previous month. Despite this, the reviews were mixed, however. Rotten Tomatoes has a score of 57%, where they say, concocted with all the restraint of a mad scientist experiment, the film lurches in so many different creative directions that the overall effect is both sloppy and inspired. True, it is pretty sloppy in some ways, but it's kind of inspired with it taking place in different cities, though. Metacritic has a score of 55, but audiences polled by CinemaScore gave it an average C plus. Now, in some decent reviews, Peter Bradshaw for The Guardian gave this 4 out of 5 stars and states Jessie Buckley is electrifying and frizzy-haired, black-tongued monster's wife. Now that yeah, I can buy that. Anyway, the Irish Times didn't seem too thrilled, as Donald Clark stated that it is loud, is brash, is willfully discordant, but it also, alas, exhibits a contrasting strain of clunkiness that would be more at home in an undergraduate review. Owen Gleiberman of Variety explained that it's like Joker Folie à Deux, which also ended up being a bus starring a grunge version of the Munsters with dollops of Sid and Nancy and natural born killers, except that the movie doesn't move. Well, that's understandable and what have you, but I didn't hate the film. I liked it a little bit for its atmosphere and what have you. Now, its characters, though, we're fine. We're completely fine. I'll get to that in a moment. I can't really pronounce the person who did the score, and I will say, whoever this person is, it's an Icelandic musician composer, so apparently she did a pretty good job. So I apologize for not, well, saying her name because it's hard to pronounce. Now, with Maggie Gyllenhaal, on the other hand, I was rather surprised that she directed this and what have you. This was, wow. Apparently, this was actually the second film she ever actually directed. I know she directed another film before this. Oh yeah, and that was this was and it was from 2021 called The Lost Daughter. I've never heard of it, nor have I seen it. But anyway, as you may know, Gyllenhaal from many films and what have you before this, like Riding in Cars with Boys, 40 Days and 40 Nights, Mona Lisa Smile. Let's see, Crazy Heart, and of course, The Dark Knight. Anyway, she does a decent job with her direction, what have you. So that was fine too. But some of it did have some pretty gruesome kills and what have you in some parts, and other bloody bits and what have you. Now, from the cast, we have Jessie Buckley, after recently winning her Academy Award and Golden Globe Award for Hamnet, played, well, dual roles. Well, actually, three roles, as a matter of fact. She plays Aya, aka Penelope Rogers, aka The Bride. But she also portrayed Mary Shelley. Yes, once you see her, it's really eerie and creepy and what have you. Christian Bale, who of course starred with director Gyllenhaal in The Dark Knight, the sequel to Batman Begins, played Frank. I'll say he was good. Pierre Sarsgaard played Jake Wiles. He was fine. Annette Bening played Dr. Euphronius. I'll say she's fine too. And then we have Jake Gyllenhaal as Ronnie Reed and Penelope Cruz as Myrna Malloy. I'll say those two were pretty good and what have you. We have lots of others and what have you. Even Julianne Hough makes an appearance in this in a dual role as Iris, aka Jinx. or a Hollywood actress who co-stars in Reed's films. Now that's something. So the cast is fine, what have you, but the way I see it, the bride is kind of a bit of a mess at times, but I am kind of mixed on this. But the story's fine. It isn't great though, but it's fine and okay. So I'd say it's okay, fine, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't, I do apologize. But I will say Maggie Gyllenhaal did a fine job with the direction. The cast is fine, what have you, but especially Jessie Buckley. She really does an amazing job. I mean, as much as I liked her in Hamnet, I think she does a pretty decent job in this. And again, Christian Bale's fine, and the rest of the cast is fine. The score for this was pretty good and what have you. But with everything said, I'd say The Bride isn't one of the best movies of the year, but I will say that I am kind of mixed on it. Would I recommend it? Well, if you're into something like The Bride of Frankenstein or something that's Frankenstein related, I'd say maybe give this a one-time watch. But if you've heard this film and you saw how poorly it did, then I'd say avoid it. Anyway, The Bride is now available on physical media on DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K Ultra HD, and the film is now currently available to stream exclusively on HBO Max. So The Bride, while I didn't hate it, it just had some issues with story and well, other a few other things, but most of them are hard to explain. For my score, I'm gonna give The Bride 3 stars. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 6.5. So what did you think of The Bride? Let me know in the comments section below. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel, and you know the rest. Please stand by. Alright, join me next time when I bring to you my next Do You Remember episode, and it'll be on the right channel. So if you like this, check out some of these other films. In the upper left-hand corner, you can check out my review of the classic itself, Bride of Frankenstein from 1935. Or go to the upper right-hand corner and you can check out my re-review of 2008's big hit, The Dark Knight. Or if you'd like more Jessie Buckley, go to the bottom left-hand corner and see my recent spoiler-free review of Hamnet from last year in 2025. And the bottom right-hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying, see ya.